Okay, so the next module, Module 3, is the Centaurian Outposts. Challenge level 4 of 5, and it adds 5 minutes per player. Basically what you do with this is you place these outpost tokens on the various planets, and the only time these are triggered are if you actually deploy population on a planet. So if we were to move in with the fighter and the battle carrier, and we had some population, let's say, on the battle carrier that we were going to deploy onto this planet, we could do so. It looks like there's a moon there, but so there may be, if we didn't research landing party. Anyway, so we've deployed population, so this immediately triggers the outpost, and you flip it over to determine what you're dealing with. So this is a level 1 outpost. So we can engage this now in combat, and it's similar to combat in that you roll dice, right, with the as you do in space combat. However, the big difference here is determining how much or how many die that you're going to actually roll. This gets a little interesting, right? So to attack, to determine the number of die that you're going to roll it's 1 plus the number of population. So we're already at 3 die. You're going to add 1 if you've researched infrastructure, which is a technology, and I'm going to go over that, but that's something you can research. So let's say we have researched that. So we're up to 4 now, 4 die. 1 plus 2 population and the infrastructure research. If you have at least 1 fighter ship in the hex, so we do in this case, and it makes a distinction of an actual fighter class ship. So we'd be rolling 5 die at that point. So again, a successful hit is 5 or 6, and if another research that you have is something called quantum targeting, so that would make a 4, 5, or 6 a successful hit. Based on the level of the outpost, that's the only hit you need to get, right? So in this case, level 1, we would just need to roll a 5 or 6 on those 5 die that we're rolling. If we had researched the quantum targeting, we'd have to roll at least 1 4 on those die. The odds are probably pretty good in our favor in this case. And when you do defeat that outpost, then you reap the benefits of drawing a victory card, if you will, for outpost level 1. And these are going to give you, very similarly to other benefits that you can reap, you could choose to discard it, learn and receive a particular technology, in this case, and some CPs, or you can keep it, of course, till the end of the game to get these additional victory points at the end of the actual game. The same goes for outpost level 2. So if you were to encounter a level 2 outpost in that same scenario, we'd still be rolling those 5 die. However, we would have to get 2 hits to actually destroy the outpost. And then, again, similarly, reap the benefits of a level 2 reward, which generally give you some better stuff. Right, and in addition, higher victory points at the end of the game, if you choose to keep the card. There's also the potential that you will encounter an outpost that is just completely blank. There are a number of these as well. If that's the case, you just discard it, put your population down, and move on about your day. Okay, another thing to point out is if you do not defeat the outpost. So if you had a level 2 outpost and let's say we only scored 1 hit, So what's going to happen there is if there happens to be other population on that planet, again, remember your opponent can also have population that exists on a planet as well, and you were the one who initiated the combat with the outpost. They can also take a crack at fighting that outpost. When that's basically all done, when all players have attacked, and that outpost will remain on the planet, the outpost will now retaliate. So you're going to basically roll a number of die equal to 1 plus the level of the outpost, right? So in the case of that level 2, we're going to be rolling 3 die, and then each result of a 5 or 6 is a successful hit. And with any player on the planet now with 1 or more population on the planet must remove 1 for each hit that the outpost scores on you. So if we sort of mess that up and can't take that outpost out, that level 2, and that outpost happens to roll 2 hits, we've just lost 2 of our population cubes. The only other way around that is if you've, again, another research, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, if you've researched perimeter defense systems, so you would suffer 1 fewer hit. There's also something called surface cloaking. So unless if you have surface cloaking as a research that you've researched, you can land on a planet without disrupting any of that outpost, because the Centurion outpost is not going to see you based on that cloaking. In addition to that, if you happen to be on a planet that someone else deploys population on and has to confront that outpost because they don't have surface cloaking, let's say, you can remain hidden and you don't have to attack in any way, shape, or form, right? So that's one way to sort of fly under the radar, so to speak, and just maintain your presence on that planet and always remain cloaked from them. Okay, so let's go over the technologies within Module 3 for the Centaurian outposts. I mentioned already, when you deploy population on a specific planet, that's what triggers the outpost it triggers the outpost to determine what level it is, if any. It may be blank, that's just removed from the game. It must be an abandoned outpost, right? Level 1 or 2. We discussed that already in terms of combat within there. The one thing to clarify, I guess, is according to the rules, you may attack an outpost when you coexist with it. But you don't have to, right? You may. If you don't, no harm, no foul. You just sort of live on the planet together. You're reaping the benefits of the planet. I guess there could be some house rules for that, depending. And if anyone else has any other ideas on the rules, but it specifically says may attack, right? So the one thing to make note of with this surface cloaking, I was trying to figure out what benefit that would have if you don't have to attack, and that's 12 CP for this technology. So let's say the situation is where you already have a presence on a planet, you've deployed population, there's a level 2 outpost there, and one of the other players rolls in and deploys some of their population, and they immediately decide to attack the outpost. Now, the thing of interest there is they more or less now have decided to attack that outpost with you on that planet as well. So when the Centaurian outpost attacks, and if they start rolling 5 and 6, so it would be 1 plus the level of the outpost. So if it was a level 2, they're rolling 3, and let's say you have 1 population on that planet, you, even though you didn't attack, the rules state that all the players on the planet are going to lose population based on that roll of a 5 or a 6. However, if you've researched surface cloaking and you did not initiate that attack, now if you do, all bets are off. That cancels this technology out. But if you do not attack, this other player who has just rolled into the planet and guns a-blazing attacks this outpost, and does not defeat the outpost in that scenario. The outpost will attack and start claiming population from the planet, from the players that are on that particular planet. If you have this, you're hidden from that attack as long as you didn't engage in an attack. So they technically may deploy population on a planet you're on and get completely wiped out by a level 2 outpost. There's potential for that. So, I don't know, let me get your thoughts on that too. That's how I'm interpreting the rules based on what I'm reading. The other technologies based on this module is infrastructure. We talked about that a little bit, and this is 8 CP. So when you are attacking an outpost, you get to roll 1 additional die when you have researched infrastructure. The perimeter defense, which is 5 CP. Now this one, when you're being attacked by the outpost, by the Centaurian outpost, you will basically suffer 1 fewer hit. So if they do 2, you're only going to lose 1 population, which is pretty useful, especially if you're going to go around trying to take out outposts. And then the final one was the quantum targeting. So this was the one, and this one is, 3 CP to research this technology. So, and again, this one was in terms of when you're attacking the actual outpost. Not only 5 and 6s are successful hits, but it also includes 4s. So 4 or better is basically a hit with this technology, quantum targeting, researched. That concludes Module 3, Centaurian Outposts. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm starting to run out of time, so thanks for tuning in. And next I'll move on to Module 4, Exploration, and see how many more I can get through. Thanks again.